Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are you? Thank you for making time to be here today at Unity in Naperville. For those of you watching online, thanks for bringing your presence to us. We feel you. And we'd love to have you come into the building and get a feel for what it's like in here, because it's a little different, wouldn't you say? Yeah. So there's music playing. Is there anybody back there? It's kind of weird. I'm not really sure where it's coming from. Just ignore that. So we have another great service planned for you. Really fun, exciting service today. I'm looking forward to being able to share part of the message today with Enoch Kim down here on the end of our highest good. Yeah. I know that you'll be blessed by that. And as usual, we love to begin the service with that energy of music, that harmony that flows with all these beautiful instruments and vocals. And the lyrics that we sing that are coming out of your mouth are on purpose, meant to inspire you and remind you of the truth of who you are. So if you'd like to stand when we sing, now's the time. Other words, stay comfortable and let's go.
Good morning, everyone. Let's choose joy in this moment. Let the joy of the Lord rise among us. Let the joy of the Lord rise among us. Let the praises that we sing rise among us. Let it rise. Let the light of the Lord rise among us. Let the light of the Lord rise among us. Let it shine from within and rise among us. Let it rise. Oh, let it rise. And let it rise. Let the love in our hearts rise among us. Let the love in our hearts rise among us. Let it shine from within and rise among us. Let it rise. Oh, let it rise. Oh, let it rise. Yeah, let's take it up. Let the joy of the Lord rise among us. Let the joy of the Lord rise among us. Let the praises that we sing rise among us. Let it rise. Oh, let it rise. Oh, let it rise. One more. Oh, let it rise. Yeah. Yeah. Woo. Oh, we choose to allow it to rise, yes? Always ever present. What you gonna do with it? That's the question, right? Well, let me capo, guys.
Right.
Let me get the right.
Yeah.
Let me get a key that we all can play together. Oh.
Hey.
There we go. Stream of good flows through me. Stream of good, how the sweet waters roll. Stream of good flows through me. Stream of good, how the sweet waters roll. It is rushing, it is pouring, it is flowing. It is God, it is good, I am floating, moving with the water, my source, my supply, my stream of good flows through me. Stream of good, how the sweet waters roll. Stream of good flows through me. Stream of good, how the sweet waters roll. It is rushing, it is pouring, it is flowing. It is God, it is good. I am floating, moving with the water, my source, my supply, my stream of good. It is God, it is good. I am floating, moving with the water, my source, my supply, my stream of good. Moving with the water, my source, my supply, my stream of good. One more. Moving with the water, my source, my supply, oh, my stream of good. Yeah!
Imagine that stream of good is actually the essence of love. Ooh, how much better does that even feel? Let's take a minute to turn within to that heart space. Recognize that stream that's flowing through us from the spiritual dimension into this physical dimension and back again. We're fully and deeply connected, allowing its good to pour through us, to affirm us, allowing that love to not only see the good in us, but do good through us. And for this awesome, loving goodness, we say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Let's speak our invocation. The words are up here on the screen. Together? There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Thanks. You may be seated.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and cry in my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love sets us free. There is only love. And there is only love. And there is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love.
I would recommend you look at yourself in the mirror every morning and just relax and look right into your eyes and say, I love you, buddy. I love you. I really love you. I'm so glad to have you here. I'm so grateful to be able to share this experience of life with you. It's so much fun to brush your teeth, comb your hair. As a matter of fact, I'm going to love you so much that it's inevitable that other people are going to feel how much love we have for each other, me and you, and they're going to want to participate in our private little party. And then you'll see people can't resist you when you love you because they know that you're safe to be around because you're loving.
So, fun note, that video was put together by Enoch Kim. That's Enoch's voice singing, all the harmonies, Enoch, music, Enoch. I know, great job. Come on. So this is how spirit works. Come on up, Enoch. How you doing?
Nervous.
These guys love you, every single one of them, so nothing to be nervous about.
Thank you.
You know, this is how spirit works. Is you know that we've been talking about thriving in 2025, and that one of the ways that we're really focusing is to raise the collective consciousness. And we voted on ways that would help to raise the world's thoughts, and we decided that it was things like last week we talked about peace and understanding. This week we are talking about love and understanding. And I thought, wow, love is such a huge topic. I said, in my heart, I'm thinking I really want to focus on self-love. And then I was on Facebook early in the week and I saw Enoch's posting. And did you release it? Did you put it on YouTube yet? Okay, so it's actually a 10-minute video. It's fantastic. Go look it up. Do you have a page? Is it a channel?
It's a weird name.
Go ahead.
Guboogee. It's kabugi. It's turtle in Korean.
Okay, so is there another way they could look it up without having to remember that?
Well,
Okay, we'll put it in the newsletter. Yeah, we'll make sure that it gets on Tuesday if you get our e-news. We'll have it in there for you. But anyway, I saw that, and it's so much about self-love. I thought, okay, this is what we're talking about on Sunday. This has got to go in our Sunday service. So do you see how Spirit just shows up, gives you what you need in the moment? Your universe loves you. It's there for you if you just invite it in, expect it, trust it. And so I thought maybe what we could do is just chat with Enoch a little bit about what was behind this for him. So there is a guy that's doing the narration, Paul Check, right? Okay, and that was his deal. That was just coming out of him spontaneously on like a podcast or a call-in. Yeah. Do you remember what the phone caller said? Like what he called in and asked?
yeah, he sounded nervous, and he just asked, "How do I love myself?" And it took him like a minute to ask the question.
Yeah. How do I love myself? So that's probably something we can all relate to. Yes. Yes. So I thought, we'll just put Enoch on the stand and ask him. So when you started to experience this whole creative process, can you kind of identify what it was about the whole thing that called you to do something with that information?
It just spoke to me so deeply that it's just something that I struggled with so much. And so I really made it for myself and knew it was going to be a gift to other people too.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay. So you knew it was an issue, and probably that many of us can relate to that issue of loving ourselves. Did you feel like you came across some ways to love yourself more after the project than before?
Yes. Slowly, yes.
Yeah. One example you might want to share?
Well, actually, recently I created an altar with pictures of my family, a place that's sacred to me where I can meditate and pray, and like have a space just for me and my ancestors and God.
And that felt love. That felt like love to you.
Yeah, it was for me.
Yeah, beautiful. Anything else that was like, I'm better at this now? Yeah, we'll talk to you about it after the service, John.
So after having a kid, I stopped making music for a long time. Actually, coming to Unity was one of the first steps of like having music in my life again.
Wow.
Coming to Unity was really for me, and then I started making music, like maybe one song with a friend a year, and then now I'm actually sitting with a guitar and playing more music with myself each week.
When you produce something like this, what is it that, do you feel like you're loving yourself by saying, hey, it's finished, it's up, I love that about myself, or was there a deeper sense of love for...
Can you ask that again?
Yeah, I'll give you a hint because you kind of talked about this and I've just been reading about this. A lot of times we decide that we can love ourselves because we got an A on our paper kind of thing. But there's also ways I think we can feel love, just feel the love, the loving energy of itself versus the thing that you produced. I'll just say it for you. Do you know where I'm going with it?
No, but I will say when I made that, there was no, because it's just such a weird piece of music. It's not like verse, chorus, verse, chorus. Like I just made it out of like a pure like, this is from my heart, versus like writing a song hoping that someone's gonna hear it and like it. So it's a very different mode. So it was truly an act of love because I was not really thinking about like some sort of validation or anything like that. It was purely out of like, man, I'm just gonna pour out my heart and like, cry through this. And
so it was actually the action, the act of creation, the act of creativity that felt like love to you?
Yes.
Yeah, I really want you to hear that because a lot of times we need some kind of outer expression coming at us, or we have to accomplish something really wonderful within ourselves to be able to love ourselves. But I'm trusting that if you just take that in as your living life, and someone comes to you and shares something with you because they love you, that if you turn towards the love itself instead of what they're doing, oh, they gave me a gift card, that feels so good. What about feeling the love that you experience from the person instead of the finished product that you're getting or that you're creating? That's where the depth of this is. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? You mentioned somewhere in our conversation about how before you heard this podcast, you didn't really believe in God.
Right.
What is that all about? I mean, why did this...
So I grew up Christian, and then in college, I was just like, I don't believe in God anymore. I was jaded by any religion, any form of spirituality. So then I just lived in a worldview where it's just meat suit, dead, lights out. And
Okay.
And then I listened to, but like there was something calling in me. I just didn't listen to it. I just kind of like really blocked it out. And then that was the first time that I was like, because he says, if you watch the whole thing, he says, if you want to know who God is, ask big questions. And when he said that, I was like, holy shit, I do want to know who God is. Like there's a thing in me, like,
Me too.
you know, and it was the first time I felt permission to ask those questions because my environment totally rejected it.
This is it. Believe us one way.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. Wow. So, gosh, we could do a whole nother service on that topic about the journey of coming in to recognize if God exists and what God looks like for us. So, how about being willing, being courageous enough to share through this experience? Did you have a new experience of what love feels like to you? Anyone?
You know, before that, I was really closed off, and it was, I mean, it's a long process, but it actually allowed me to get into a place where I can open my heart to being intimate with people, and because I feel like intimacy gives me a piece of like what it feels like to be connected, and it opened that up for me.
Genius. Perfect. Not that we're grading you on your answers today. But please hear that. That concept of intimacy is almost impossible for any one of us to have if we are not first loving ourselves. And when you truly get to that place where you can accept yourself for who you are, exactly as you are, then you can do it for everybody else. Would you agree? Hard to do?
Yeah, it's hard, but I agree.
Can you guys give some love to Enoch for coming and spending time with us today? Thank you, my friend. So I want each one of us to have an opportunity to keep touching in with yourself and saying, how am I doing today? That's all part of the Raising the Collective Consciousness. We got so excited when we started this series. It's like we're here to help others. People could really benefit from the message that we share here at Unity. And so let's get going and let's focus on raising other people's thoughts. And part of that is because that's our purpose as spiritual beings. Certainly not as human beings. We don't even come close to that. But the human is not us. It's the spirit in us that's the true us, that's eternal, that lives on after the body goes. And when we come in here as spirit, we know that. And our purpose is to bump up against those human challenges and transform them into something higher that looks more like the divine and less like the human selfishness. So that's a pretty big challenge, as we all know. I'm guessing you've run into a few challenges here since you arrived. Total silence, crickets. Okay, so coming back to this idea of shifting our consciousness, it really does begin with ourselves. We can like walk in here every Sunday and say, we've got a mission. We're here to help renew the mind and invite people to come up into their true self. But the truth is, we can't do it for anybody else. if we haven't learned how to do it for ourselves. That each one of us is on a one-to-one job here about tapping in regularly to what am I doing right now, what am I feeling right now, versus what do I want to be, who do I want to be. You know, one of the things that was in the video that I just adored was when the narrator, I'll just call him the narrator, says, I'm going to love you so much that it's inevitable that other people are going to feel how much love we have for each other, me and you. And he's talking about the human versus the spirit, in my opinion. And they're going to want to participate in our private little love fest that we're having within ourselves. And then you will see people can't resist you when you love you because they know you're safe to be around because you're loving. That is powerful. That if we can get to that point where we cut ourselves some slack, we love ourselves as we are, we totally recognize that this journey is tough and that our human is doing the best it can most of the time, but there's a higher self within us that really has our back, and it's the true self that is us. And when the two of us can merge and you keep letting higher self say, hey, buddy, I love you. You've got it. We're going to get through this. Let me show you the way how to do that. When you can get to that where it just becomes this constant reinforcement from your higher self, then suddenly you're now raising your sense of being, your frequency, so to speak, and people sense that. How many of you had sensed that in another person where you feel really comfortable around them? Yeah, you just trust that they know what it's like to love ourselves. And they're kind of an inspiration for us, right? That not only do we feel safe in their presence, but maybe we could do that for ourselves. So keep that in mind on this journey as we're talking about self-love, that it's our job to do, that nobody else can teach it to us, that we can look around us and see what we see. Unfortunately, most of the time what we see is people not loving themselves, and therefore it bleeds out to the rest of the world. But we can overcome that with our concentration, with our focus on the true self that is perfect and whole from forever. Then listen more, open your heart more, and let that spirit shine through you and tell you what's next. You know, our focus on love and acceptance today is can be kind of tough for people because human beings think if you focus on loving yourself, you're just egotistical. But what if you're not? Something that John Payne wrote in his book, up here on the screen. The more individuals who shift their vibration upwards toward the vibration of love, the more others will be able to accomplish the same with less effort. And so on, until critical mass is reached. Wouldn't that be nice? But note that your ability to bring your thoughts up into a higher realm actually makes it easier for the next guy to do that. That is cool. But here's the hard part. And I've read this off and on in his book just to remind myself, and every time I read it, I go, here it is. Love is the total and complete acceptance of what is. Not just in ourselves, in all that is. That if we want to be love, it's the total and complete acceptance of what is. So if you remember that, you're free to come into the cafe afterwards and bring it up. I'm sure there'll be some arguments about that. All the while, this presence, which we might define as God or source or creator, it's everywhere present and it's always loving. It is love. It's not just an action. It's a power. It's a presence. It's a state of consciousness, and it's loving. And so the thing that gets in our way of knowing that is judgment. Some of us were taught, if we were growing up in some type of religious organization, we were taught that God is judging, not just loving, but judging. And so we learn that and we expect that. But in my truth, what I believe, what we teach in Unity is there is no judgment in God. If we feel the need to judge others, come back to that, it's because we don't love ourselves. And that's a tough one. So part of our work here is finding love for ourselves first, not because it's egotistical, but because there is a true being of love that you are, And that lower human self just needs a taste of it every once in a while so that it can rise up to that same level. Now, as I mentioned, we come in here as spiritual beings knowing this about ourselves, but then that veil comes down and suddenly we've forgotten who we really are. And that's when the judging starts. I mean, early on, we opened our eyes and looked around and listened to what others were doing, saying about themselves and about others, and we thought, okay, this is the way it is. I was perfect there for a minute, now I'm forgetting that, and my consciousness is going to, am I okay? Am I acceptable? And that doesn't usually produce a positive result for us because everything we see with our eyes says no. So again, our frequency gets lower and lower. So our first step about all of this is to turn within and just keep asking ourselves, especially when we don't feel good emotionally, just stop and ask yourself, what is it that I'm doing right now? Have I been selfish about something? Have I felt like I've been trying to control others? Have I been feeling unworthy? Anybody can relate to those feelings, I'm sure. But notice it, catch it in those moments. And when they become painful enough, then you just kind of push all those judgments out towards the world and make them the criminal and the cause of why this is happening to me. So if we want to transform that back to a self-loving energy, we have to take responsibility for ourselves to catch those moments when we're judging ourselves. Begin by reminding yourself, there is only one here. It's God, it's good, it's love, and I'm part of it. So anything that looks unhealthy, that feels difficult for us, is not of God. And it's not God expressing it, not God judging you. It's the ego. It's the subconscious that you've been storing up over time. So this is our chance to stop for a minute and remind ourselves, I'm spirit. I came in perfectly whole. I came in as an extension and expression of the one. I still am an extension and expression of the one, which is always perfect, whole, and love. So we just have to renew that mind. We just have to keep telling ourselves what is true about ourselves until we get to that place of love and acceptance. Even though we're in the same vessel that our ego is in. So we have to share space with that ego that's got a really big mouth and it's a huge judge, and remind ourselves, but that's not me. My higher self is me. I'm eternal and I'm made of love. And if I can just get its attention, I can show it the way. I can show it how to do that. So Marcy Shimoff wrote a book that I highly recommend called Love for No Reason. You can actually do that. You can actually love for no reason. Not because they did something nice for you or because they behaved well today or they got an A on their paper. Just love for no reason. So in her book, she says, when you strengthen the self-love center, you stop condemning and abandoning yourself and start being there for yourself, no matter what, even in the midst of pain, in the midst of the things about yourself that you think are unlovable. There's actually two consciousnesses involved in that statement. There's the one that's being called to be there for the other self. So we're talking about if you can start being there for yourself, meaning giving way to the higher self of you, being there for the lower self in you, and trust it and know that it's there and turn to it and invite it and ask it questions. Enoch talked about that meditation. You know, if you want to know more about God, then ask questions. Let God explain itself to us. There is a voice within us that is our higher self that will do the explaining if you've started to learn how to listen. Again, our responsibility. So usually what the ego will do will say, you failed, and you shouldn't have done it that way. And then you try and make up for it. No, you're still not doing it right. And then you try and do something different, and it's like, oh man, that was so not the way. Now look at the mess you've made. And it will just keep judging. So we want the Spirit to be there for us, and it always will, but you have to remember to invite it to become your true self and speak to the lower self as if it's your child, as if it's still learning and growing. And just like a parent knows with their children, they want to encourage you. And that's what Spirit is doing if you will let it. It wants to encourage you and tell you how wonderful you are. So don't be afraid to open your mouth one day and just say, I love myself so much. I am just wonderful. I am living this life so well. I'm having such a good time. You know, one of the other things I remember from that video is that if you really want to love yourself, give yourself opportunities to do what makes you feel good. You're in charge of that. You get to decide whether today I'm going to beat myself up in order to change, or today I'm just going to cut myself some slack and go to the beach. Yeah. Okay, I hear some of you saying, oh, no, can't do that. I don't have the time. That's not wise. Guess who that is? Ego. Yeah. Anybody seen the Broadway show, also a movie called South Pacific? I'm too young, but I'm sure some of you have heard South Pacific. There's this song. Now, they're at war. Americans are at war with Japan. And they're in the islands, and there's obvious judgment and bias going on around the islanders. And the song, this guy, let's see if I can remember how to do this. You've got to be taught. You've got to be taught. You've got to be taught to hate and fear. You've got to be taught from year to year. It's got to be drummed in your dear little ear. You've got to be carefully taught. We were taught. After the veil went down and we couldn't hear from our higher self that we are delightful, that we are delicious, that we are wonderful and creative and total glory, then we opened our eyes to the world around us, and we listened and we watched and we compared, and we started to feel like we don't measure up. And over the years, we've just been taking it in and stuffing it down in the subconscious, and its job is to keep repeating it out to you in your actions and your thoughts. But just as you were taught to hate and fear, you also can be taught to love yourself, and that's what we're talking about today. You came in perfect, now we're trying to get back to that perfect. And right away, when I say that, right away, ego comes up and says, nobody's perfect. But what if you are? What if we all are? Now, we won't see that perfection if we look with our eyes and we use our 5 physical senses. That's the human part of us. But there is the true you that is actually, when you think about it, I imagine that we as spiritual beings are basically living in 2 universes at the same time. Physical, material, and then spiritual, eternal. So we have feet in both worlds. And when we remember that right now, this moment, our spirit is in 2 worlds, it's that part of ourself that is perfect and whole, because it's God expressing, yes, I said it, you are God expressing uniquely as each one of you. That part of yourself is perfect. Take a breath, take a big breath. I can't believe she just said that. Thank you. I'm glad you're glad about that. That's where we're headed today. So it's practicing self-compassion. And as we do that, we actually begin to adjust our frequency so that our body is healthier. It actually improves our immune system. And it's that part of ourself that helps us sleep better. And we have less anxiety the more that we can focus on how delicious and wonderful and awesome and cool we are as spiritual beings. It's like, the higher self in you came to share quarters with this baby with the idea of creating things that normally, if the spirit weren't involved in this universe and in your bodies, it probably wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be here. So just know that anything good that's happening in this universe and within yourself is of God. Another word for God is good. And our work here is to overcome that lower part of ourself that has so many other negative things to say. So when you start to notice this inner critic kick in, which it will, it has lots of opinions, as you know, see if you can catch yourself in that moment and just ask, what am I doing right now that's not serving me? Let's have this list up here. What am I doing now that's not serving me? Am I criticizing myself? Am I going back in time and reminding me of my past failure? Am I thinking about the future and how difficult it is for me to even begin to imagine getting better at something? Stop it! Go back to your true identity and let that love of your true being start to shine out and just cover up and soothe that lower self, which inspires us to know that there's a possibility. What is the most loving thing I can do for myself? When you catch yourself criticizing, what is the most loving thing I can do for myself right now? It might just be take a nap. Turn that racket off. Go to the movies. Go to the beach. Do something nice for someone else. Do anything that helps you recognize who you truly are. What's the most loving way I can be with myself? You're just great. Just something simple to remind yourself of who you really are. So, a lot of you might be thinking, okay, if this ego has so much trouble giving love, authentic love, how am I going to get it to start giving me love? It's not. That's not who we're talking to. It's your spirit that's going to give the love. It's your spirit that is the source of your love. Infinite, unlimited, always present love. Always sees your good, accepts you just as you are. Become that in mind, and heart will follow. So it's there, it's available to you, but unless you go looking for it, there's this story in the Bible about Jesus sitting at a well and who's going to give him water, and the woman said, well, that's unusual for you to be asking me, and he said, well, I could give you water that would just refresh you forever, and you'd never run out. That's the truth about love. If we look for it, if we expect it, if we allow it, we will receive it. We will feel that love that's always waiting for us. So, little tiny efforts, small acts of kindness will help this ramp up within you. Just, that simple thing, holding the door open for someone, looking at them in the elevator and saying, good morning. Clear your throat first, though. Good morning. Smile. Simple smile to a stranger on the street. And I've actually beamed love. Just use your imagination. See a light in your heart filled with love, and then just directed it with your heart out towards them. I've literally had somebody in front of me, I did that to, and they turned around and looked like, what was that? And there's no reason why that shouldn't happen, because it's an energy, it's a power, it's the highest power, it's going to lift. So careful, you might just blast off from planet Earth. Give love. Give love to your body, because it heals when it receives love. And then also learn to receive that love yourself from the outside. Because how easy is it for someone to say, oh, you look so good today? Well, first of all, the ego will say, yeah, but not yesterday. It'll start to pick it apart, right? Oh, not really. I overslept. I didn't have time to do my hair. How many times does our ego do that? It basically says, I don't want your love. So how about when it starts to come at you, when you are either given a literal gift or someone says something nice to you, here's your response. Thank you. That's it. No more excuses about why you shouldn't have that gift, or why you're not worthy of that gift, or I'm not really that good. You think I am, but I'm not. We just stand there and argue for our limitations. How about just expecting people to say that to you? Expecting people to tell us that we look good. Now, don't get caught up in it like, they didn't say it and I'm not worthy. I'm kind of overemphasizing to make a point here. To change your attitude from, oh, don't look at me, I'm horrible, to, hey, I'm here. Why don't you do that tomorrow? If you're going into work or school or whatever, just walk in the door and go, hey, I'm here. See how that goes. Hey, well, the problem is, if there's a problem that pursues, it's because we're not used to doing that for ourselves. We usually just try to come in and not be seen. We laugh every once in a while when our greeters have a a gathering of how to be a greeter at the front door. How, some people would prefer not to be greeted, and that's okay. Whatever makes you feel good, you come on in. If you've got to sneak in to get to the back seat of the furthest corner of the room, come on in. We'll pretend like we don't really see you, if that's what makes you feel good. But oh my gosh, you're missing so much. We would love it if you would just walk in the door next week and say, "Hey, I'm here." We go, "Yay!" As we could be doing with pretty much everybody. So when that self-love, you learn to take it in, and now you're giving it. It becomes a totally regular, complete, don't have to think about it way of life for you. Then your being starts to rise up. Your consciousness is starting to rise up. And you're naturally feeling love for others without even trying. It's your first instinct to just love and accept others just as they are, no matter who. I know. You got somebody in your life that doesn't make the list, but them too. And the more that you can be that for them, they feel safe around you, and they can let that love in that you're sharing with them, and now they can even maybe turn to somebody else and do the same thing for them because they feel safe. They feel accepted. They feel worthy. And that's all part of this practice here. I mean, most of us are doing this. When I lose myself, what'd we sing? When it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, everybody, there's only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Let me finish with this quote from Marianne Williamson. She wrote a book, A Return to Love, but she also wrote the foreword to Love for No Reason. So in the beginning, she's advising the readers not just to read this Love for No Reason book, but put it into practice. She said, if you do it, and I do it, and everyone else who reads it does it, then in our own small ways, we have helped turn the tide of history. Blocks to love will fall by the wayside. Walls that separate us will begin to melt. Wounds will heal, and the world will change. So let's take some time in meditation and just get that ball rolling. Because we are worthy of love. We are made of love. We are in the presence and as the presence of love, and we need to remember that first. So we're going to use our imagination today. And whether you can talk the ego into believing this is really happening or not is up to you. But if you can, I really think you'll have fun with this. So we'll just dim the lights and close our eyes and allow ourselves to be here in our own little sacred space. Take a deep breath through your heart and feel your heart expand. Another deep breath and feeling your body relax even more. Feeling safe in this sacred space. And imagining in your mind's eye this beautiful, golden, glowing life force of love at the center of the earth. Drop your mind down into the center of the earth and see this pulsing, glowing life force made of pure love. And not only is it stretching out to fill the inside of the planet, but it's beaming its beautiful life energy upwards towards the surface of the earth. Coming through the crust of the earth, through the floor of this building, and right up into your feet. Have your feet planted firmly on the floor and feel that loving life force streaming up through your legs and your hips, your lower back, your abdomen, your solar plexus, until it reaches your heart space. And that golden, loving light is shining more and more brightly in your heart, filling you with that feeling of safety. I am safe. I am grounded in love. Just allow yourself to sit and feel that for a moment. That golden, loving light, radiating love in your heart with a feeling of safety and acceptance, pure perfection. It's here just for you. And wants you to know how loved you are. And now allow your thoughts to rise up high, high, high into the heavens, where there is a beautiful golden liquid light of love. It's making its way down as a stream of good, flowing as love, coming down through the sky, through the rooftop, through your scalp, down through your brain, your neck. Your shoulders are glowing with perfect love and light. And that beautiful energy moves down the neck into the upper spine and finds its home right in the middle of your heart, glowing with love, merging with that beautiful love light that's come from the center of the earth. We're bringing heaven and earth together right here in our own heart. Pure love. It knows you. It's familiar with every cell in your body. And as it moves from cell to cell, it says, I love you. You are perfectly loved. All things are working together for your highest good. This beautiful golden love light is filling your entire being with a knowing. I'm safe. I'm just right. The universe loves me and provides my good for me. There's no one that I need to become. I simply allow my true and divine self to flow, to lead the way, to lift my thoughts, to point me in the direction of the perfect love that I am. And I say yes. Yes to love. Yes to loving myself. Yes to loving all beings just as they are. I let go and let love be free to be me. This is the truth of my being. And now I let it be. And so it is. Amen. Hey, we're here! Finally! Okay, so every day. How long that take? 5 minutes? You got 5 minutes, right? You deserve it. You're worthy of it. Know the truth, and it will set you free. Oh, that's fun. And if you want, come talk more out in the cafe afterwards. We got food. We're going to have a little chat about the message. So if you have questions or arguments about today, come on out. We'll play. And this point in our service, we share our gifts of love through our tithes and love offerings. It's just your way to give love back to your spiritual community. If you're feeling nourished here, it's your help through your giving that helps sustain what happens here, not only for those in the room, but if you're watching online, we appreciate your gifts. And you can do that online at our website, unityinnaperville.org. If you'd like to mail checks, that can be sent to our P.O. Box 9733. There's a QR code up here if you want to scan it with your phone. If you want to meet out at the desk and use your credit card, you're welcome to do that. And I'm going to invite our ushers to come receive that as we bless it with our music. Ushers?
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Ushers, let's do this together. Thank you, Jed. So remember that beaming love thing that I talked about? Let's just beam love to these gifts because now that sets them free to go out and send love to other wonderful places in the world. Let's say our blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we have, Beth, are you doing our announcements? Come on up. Hey, everybody, Beth's here.
Hey, I'm here. I'm not here.
Marley.
Hello.
There you go.
There we go. Hey, I'm Beth Schwartz. I'm here to read your announcements today. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We're glad you're here. I know we had a lot of first-timers today. Please complete the goldenrod colored registration form on the welcome table and leave it at the information desk, and we'll keep you posted about upcoming events. Virtual newcomers can sign up for weekly e-news at unityinnaperville.org. Join us today after service for Unity's Food for Thought, a monthly gathering in our community cafe. Enjoy a complimentary lunch, which I'm told is an organic vegan salad bar today. Courtesy of Steve, and conversation sparked by what was shared in the service that morning. Monday Morning Metaphysics meets tomorrow online at 10:30. They're reading Shortcut to a Miracle. Sisters in Spirit, which is the official new name for the Unity Women's Group, kicks off its book club this week. The online group meets Tuesday at 6:30, and the in-person group meets Wednesday at 6:30 here at Unity. See the events calendar for details and the Zoom link for Tuesday's meeting. Registration is open for Unity's Women's Spa Day this Saturday from 10 until 2 at Unity. Enjoy a relaxing morning communing with friends. General admission is only $20, and with that, you get a meditation and sound journey with Deb Kermeen, plus a paraffin hand dip, do-it-yourself facial, calf massage, vibration plate, make your own sugar scrubs, healthy refreshments. $20 registration is until February 19th online or at the info table, $30 at the door. Additional services can be purchased separately, including energy balancing with Cindy Spees, the full body massage with Dr. Kira Webb, and reflexology with Amanda Olajars. Join us for lunch out next Sunday at Pomegranate Cafe. See the event calendar for details. And our prayer chaplain today is Steve, who is out making lunch. He can pray with you in the prayer room after the service, or email your name and phone number to prayer@unityinnaperville.org, and a chaplain will call you today by 1 p.m. For details on all our events, see the event calendar at unityinnaperville.org.
So let me just remind you, hey, look over at our open-mindedness banner. There's stuff on it. So thanks for those who contributed, and you can too. There's crayons and markers back there you can use, or Post-its. Bring in something that you've seen online, whatever you want to do to help us remember this whole year to be open-minded and allow peace and understanding, love and acceptance this year. That's how we raise collective consciousness. Use that value of open-mindedness. Help us remember. And if you want to be part of the Thrive Hive team and do it in other ways, come see me afterwards or sign up in the cafe and we'll talk more. Thanks, everybody. Okay, what's next? Songs?
So we invite everyone to stand.
Okay, everyone stand as you're
for our
able. We're
closing
all
song.
here.
There we go.
Let there be peace. Let there be peace on earth,
And let it begin
with me. Let there be peace on earth,
a peace that was meant to be with God as creator. Family, all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony.
let peace begin with me.
Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Oh, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you to all who helped make this service possible. We have so many volunteers that are here today. Let's thank them all. And here's our closing affirmation for today. Just let it sink in there for a minute. From our higher self to our lower self, we're saying, as I learn, I'll invite you. Come on in. As I learn to love myself first, I can love all others, no matter who. Okay? Now, take a minute to find someone that you forgot their name and just ask them what they thought about that. Or come out here and sit at the tables with us, enjoy some food, and let's talk some more about it. Love you guys. Have a great week.